Hi, Coach Cameron here from Leaping Through Life. Today we have one of Australia's experts in prosperity and building millionaire mindsets, Mr. Pat Mesiti. Pat, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on the program.
Thank you. Now, Pat, tell me, what do you think holds most people back when it comes to building prosperity and creating that millionaire mindset in their lives?
You know, Coach, you've hit the nail right in the head. In one word, you said it's mindset.
Yep.
And so often people get set in their thinking.
Yep.
And unfortunately, in the culture in which we live, it's very limited. We aren't taught to think beyond the box we're in. As a matter of fact, in our computer age, we want to be calculated, numbered and boxed. And unfortunately, what holds them back is really what's up here. And it's not that they've got to have the degree or anything like that. It's just purely a philosophy on how they do life and how they approach life and how they approach things like money or relationships. And the mindsets that are there, that's what holds them back. They're like strongholds, and that's why I call them mindsets. It's changing those mindsets.
That's good. And if someone wanted to move from where they are today into achieving their dreams in wealth and prosperity in 2, 3 or 5 years' time, what would you say to those people?
Well, I think number one, I think you need a good mind flush,
Yep.
And get some good rethinking patterns in your head. I think secondly, if you want to achieve great dreams, you've got to hang around the right kind of people.
Yeah.
Because that's very important.
Yes.
Third thing, and this is where your role comes in, and obviously my role, is having someone that can guide you along the way. No one gets successful on their own.
That's right.
Tragedy, just the other day, someone said to me, you know what, Pat, I'm going to give up on my dreams, and thanks for your help. I'm not going to give them up totally, but I'm going to try and do it in a few years' time on my own. I thought, how sad.
Yeah.
Because nobody ever does it on their own. So flush the mind, get good education. 3, get a mentor in your life. And here's the 4th thing. I think really be objective. What do you really, really want?
Yeah.
Most people don't get what they want because they never really define it.
Yeah.
Fuzzy dreams don't come true.
That's true.
It's the articulate, clear dream that actually manifests in life.
That's great. Thanks. And you've coined the phrase millionaire mindset. If someone wants to think like a millionaire, what have they got to do? What have they got to think about?
Oh, look, well, firstly, what they've got to do is stop thinking that it's about money.
Yeah, okay.
Prosperity is a mindset we develop. It's not about money.
Yeah.
Secondly, I think, you know what, have a millionaire plan. Look, it's like you don't have to be sick to have a health plan.
Yeah, that's true.
And have a plan to wealth. Put some money aside. Get some good advice on life. I think thirdly, it's very important that we begin to challenge some of the mind viruses and thoughts that we have, like, I'm just an average Aussie battler, or this is all I'll have in life. And we settle for less than what we actually really deserve.
Yeah.
Once you settle for less, you actually get even less.
Okay.
And it's really resetting the boundary. I think the other thing is important to hang around people that are going to push you to think differently.
Yeah.
For example, I just got a phone call from the American Express credit card company, and I said, "Did we pay our last bill?" She says, "Yes, thank you." And I said, "How much was it?" Because I knew how much it was. It was a big bill. And the lady goes, "Wow, that was a big, big bill." I said, "Isn't it fantastic? I'm decreasing my liabilities and increasing my assets."
That's awesome.
And she goes, "Oh, that's an interesting way." No, I was taught that by the late Jim Rohn.
Yeah.
And it's getting those people in your world that can stretch you to think. That's the real important factors of life.
That's good. Now, you've shared the stage with some of the best speakers, entrepreneurs and business people in the world.
Yeah, I've made them awesome.
Yeah, you've made them who they are.
I wish.
But people like Sir Richard Branson,
incredible guy.
What do you think gives Richard the X factor when it comes to business and being an entrepreneur that sets him apart from everyone else?
Look, I had a chance to interview him for an hour on stage and to speak before him, and there's 2 times you don't want to speak for Richard Branson, before and after he does. But the one thing that intrigued me is, number one, he thinks big.
Yeah.
He really does. Secondly, he gets an idea, finds good people, and gets out of the way. Now people are going, "Oh, well, that's Richard Branson, he's got the money." There was a time when he didn't have the money.
Yeah, that's good.
He started with a little song called Tubular Bells, which most people wouldn't remember. And but he just gets out of the way. I think the third thing that he does, he actually knows his strength. He knows where to play the game.
Yeah.
And you've got to realise that in life, if you're going to succeed, you're not going to be good at everything. You've got to find out what you're good at, stick to it, and then move out of the way of someone who's better than somewhere or something else.
Yeah, that's really good advice.
Because people just think they can do it all. And in business, you absolutely can't.
Yeah.
Look, the other thing is I believe he's had people in his life to speak into his life.
Yeah.
Most of us don't have anyone in our world who will bring in, help us adjust our course, help us correct. That's why it's important to have coaching in your world.
That's true.
Because a coach sees more than you see, knows more than you know, and you'll learn something from him.
Yeah.
I tell people everything you need is in the heart of another person.
Yeah.
And Richard will find people that are smarter than him in certain areas, and he'll let them go into his idea.
Yeah.
And that's what really makes him an exceptional leader. And of course, he's not threatened.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
So
for
they're
that.
the important things.
That's really good. Now, Pat, I've heard you say from the stage that there are untold opportunities happening for people every single day. What do you mean by that? And when opportunities come our way, how do we know that they are opportunities?
Well, firstly, most opportunities come dressed in overalls,
Yeah.
and they look like hard work, and
Yeah.
people can easily dismiss them. Recently I was given a business opportunity, and I thought, oh man, it's a lot of hard work. Now the return of it, if it goes well, it's going to be massive.
Yeah.
But there's opportunities everywhere. The thing is that people want them to turn it into millions overnight. Look, there is no get rich quick scheme.
That's true.
If there was, I'd have found it.
Yeah.
There's get rich through process,
Yeah.
through knowledge, through delivering the right thing at the right time. And there's opportunities right now on the internet. There's opportunities in properties. There's opportunities through business. You just got to look for it, but you've got to be prepared to do the work.
That's right. Yes.
And that's where most people really we're lazy.
Yeah.
And if you're not prepared for hard work, and they oftentimes come disguised as impossible situations.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't look like a great opportunity. I mean, for example, the Beatles, they got rejected by Decca Records. What a mistake.
Yeah.
The portable computer was, I think it was Digital Corp said, oh, forget it, we only see a worldwide market for one.
Yeah.
Opportunities, are there all the time. You've got to keep your eyes open, and they move fast.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Mate of mine who's a very, very wealthy man, lives in WA. His name is Tony, and Tony, you're a good man. He said to me this, he said, Pat, when these things come, you got to jump on them quick, because they come and they go just as fast. And you could have been the guy.
Yeah.
Interesting story about the George Foreman grill. I'm sure people out there have got the George Foreman grill.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is that was also offered to Hulk Hogan.
Oh, okay.
And the only reason why
that.
George got it was because he made the first phone call back.
Okay, yeah.
He got him first.
Yeah.
So you got to make the call. You got to take the opportunity.
So it could have been a Hulk Hogan grill.
Could have been, yeah, that's right. And you know what? You know what comes to those that wait? Leftovers.
Yeah, that's right. That's great. All right. Well, we've had Pat Mesiti here, one of Australia's premier experts in prosperity and millionaire mindset building. Thank you very much for your time today, Pat.
Appreciate it.
For more information about our programs, go to leapingthroughlife.com.au, where you can join up on one of our events or workshops or join our regular coaching program. Thank you.